And now, it's Lunchtime with Ira, live from the Las Vegas Hilton.
Have you ever thought about doing something entirely different than show business?
Law. My father was a lawyer. My father was a labor lawyer, man, who represented the non-English speaking blue-collar laborers like his father was. My grandfather made hats. He came from Avellino, Italy. It's the foundation of the United States of America, the greatest country in the world. And when all the ethnicity came into this country and they worked, my father represented those guys when they were hurt on the job. So I always appreciated the good part of law, you know.
Now, that was during your growing up years in Scottsdale?
Yeah. I don't
know where that came from,
I'm going to
Joe.
walk out of the airport. Somebody's going to say, so you're from Scottsdale, Arizona? Me too. I'm from Scottsdale. I'll say, no, you're starting a rumor.
Yeah, I know. But it's fun. Cheers.
Very fancy water you have.
Thank you.
You spared nothing.
It's in your honor. It's actually, we were going to get Trenton water, but with Fiji, it turned out to be
I only drink water from the Passaic River. I know.
Oh, excellent. So tell us about, I don't want to trace your entire career, but it's fascinating to me. But when you went on to Saturday Night Live, and I'll come back to it just for briefly, what was the biggest challenge? Was it having to make it an institution even more viable than the way it started out?
Yeah, it's true. And again, in the show, we address it. But it's funny, me being from the East Coast, from New Jersey, and then worked at comedy clubs. 4.5 years, almost 5 years, the improvisation, 44th and 9th. Ira, it was Hell's Kitchen at the time, man. I mean, we would get in fights, because I was a bouncer. I was the guy that, the maitre d' kind of thing, as much as a maitre d's a little fancy for what the club was, but I was the guy at the door. Let me put it that way, right. You know? And I would say, but it was a great learning experience there. But it was great because it was close to home, and I had my little boy, Joe. I have his son, 67 and retired now. So, I'm getting old, man. No, Joey's like going to be 28 next week. 28!
Not when he hears this interview.
And he had great talent in his own right. But he was like, a kid then. He was just born then. And I would go to the Improv, and Robin Williams would come in, and Richard Pryor would come in, and Rodney would come in, and it was so exciting at the time. But I went right from there to Saturday Night Live. And it was by a fluke through a friend who said, you should see Joe. They needed a utility guy because Danny Aykroyd, the man who was truly the captain of the starship SNL, he is the guy. And we all idolized Danny. But so not to ever compare myself to him, but he stepped away. So they needed a utility guy. So I went in, and just because they needed somebody, it just worked out that way. And so to replace the original cast was Ira, the worst. You talk about, I'm always positive, and the worst. I mean, I've had everything happen to me, the ups and the downs. I've been a puppet, a pauper, a pirate, a poet, a pawn, and a king. When I went on SNL, we had to replace the original cast. Worst time of my life. Oh, you couldn't do it. And I talk about it on the show. If you come February 18th to the opening, you'll hear it all.
Yeah, I'll be here.
I'm leaking it now.
Yeah, no, I'll be here.
But it was a tough time, because you couldn't replace it. So we did 10 shows. Then they took us off the air. Then they yanked us off the air. Do you remember? NBC said, don't think so. Not working. So Dick Ebersol, the executive producer at NBC at the time, came in, kept Eddie and I on. And Eddie and I were young, cocky guys. We're just going, Eddie was really young. Eddie was like, 18. I was like 27 or something like that. And they're going, we're going to keep you guys on the show. And we went, yeah, great. Look, we got to go out. It was like
to
that.
The daily.
It was. The attitude, we were so cocky that I think from that point, when Ebersol took a sports approach to it. So it was smart. And he went in, and we nailed it. Second City came in, Timmy Kazurinsky, and some great talent from Mary Gross, and Robin Duke from Second City came in, and then we finally got our own identity. But it was tough.
I'll tell you it was tough. I'm okay now. I'm all right now, Ira, but then I was in bad shape.
30 Rock didn't intimidate you then?
No. You know what? It's funny. When I was a kid, growing up, and then I was in college.
Is it a Jersey thing that you just don't get intimidated by that stuff?
Yeah, it's a very good point. It is true. Because it is. In Jersey, we're impressed by absolutely nothing. It's nothing, I mean, really. It's just,
If you survive growing up, then...
It's when the politicians do to us what they do to us with the property tax, highest property tax in all the nation. We just keep on keeping on. It's the Bruce Springsteen work ethic. It's the John Bon Jovi, Richie Sambora work ethic. It's Jay-Z now lives in Jersey. Although he's from Brooklyn originally, but you come to Jersey, you get that attitude, man. Yeah. And
do you guys have a club room you all get together in once a month for meetings? Is there? Does it exist?
Yeah, it's a secret club actually. With a secret. Wouldn't that be funny?
Yeah, that would be good.
But it all started from the main man, Mr. Frank Sinatra. He would went in. I mean, here's a guy. He would be in Brazil, and he goes, I come from a town called Hoboken, New Jersey. He would say it, and it made us so proud. And then when you hear Bruce writing all his brilliant lyrics and being from Jersey, it's a proud thing.
When you started doing the Sinatra impressions, did you get positive feedback from Frank Sinatra immediately, or?
You must do this for a living. These are good questions.
Thank you.
I'm thinking, is this therapy?
Yes.
Therapy with Ira.
Thank you. I have a bill I'm going to give you at the end of the show.
God, after this,
it's only for an hour.
I could use it. No. So they want me on SNL to do the Frank Sinatra impression, and I'm going, I ain't doing it. I said, my hero's my father, my number one hero, the real Joe Piscopo. Yeah, the guy. I'm telling you, he told me Frank Sinatra was the guy. Joe DiMaggio. These are great Italian Americans, and so they said, you're gonna do it. And I go, I'm not doing it, man. Mr. Sinatra's gonna get upset. I'm not gonna do it. They kept talking me into it, because they needed a Frank Sinatra character.
But it would be a tribute to him. So why would you be resistant to it? It's not like you're making fun of him.
Another good question, Mr. Ira.
Thank you, sir.
He's such a smart man, Mr. Ira, smart person, man. You know what? Because the sketches were so they tried to be like edgy and satirical, which to me translated to mean.
I gotcha. Or disrespectful.
I said, disrespectful. Yeah. There's the word.
Well, that's why.
And you're not even Italian.
Exactly.
No respect.
Right.
No, we're going back to the Rodney thing. No respect at all. So I said, can't do it. Fought. But I wanted to be a team player because I'm a team player. So finally I said, all right, let me write the sketch. And they put the makeup on, they put the wig on, and I did the whole thing. But I wrote Mr. S a letter. I wrote him a personal letter, done with respect. You're my number one hero. My father told me all the great things that you've accomplished.
So what you were doing was preempting retaliation.
Or kissing butt. I'm not sure what it was.
One of the two. Right. Did it work?
No, it did. He sent cease and desist letters to everybody except me. And when I met him, and Tommy Dreesen introduced me, and I met him.
Tommy used to open for
very close. Tommy was in the inner circle. I was never in the inner sanctum, but he would always, he says, hey, Frank, you know Joe Piscopo. Hey, Joe, baby, how are you? And the joke is, it's true. I said, hey, can I call you Frank? He went, no. Just like that. He was a great sense of humor, you know. And as a matter of fact, I was at and stop me because I could talk for hours with you.
No, go ahead. We're going to take a break in a minute, but keep going.
Well, we were at the Friars Club, and I got a call that Dean. I did Dean Martin to Jerry Lewis, another great idol of mine, Jerry Lewis. He was on Saturday Night Live.
A resident of Las Vegas, I might add.
Yeah, right. Oh, he's just, my son and I just idolized Jerry. So Jerry's hosting Saturday Night Live, and I did Dean Martin to Jerry. Well, Dean saw it. Dean asked me to be on the Friars Club with Sammy and Shirley MacLaine and Angie Dickinson and Milton Berle. And I was a kid, man. So I stepped up to the podium to do Dean Martin, but I saw the old man right there. I saw Mr. S right there, and I said, you know, and I don't know why I did. I said, my favorite song is "I Don't Stand a Ghost of a Chance with You." Who remembers that song, number one? Why it came to my head there? And so I do it right to him, and that's what I said. I don't stand a ghost of a chance with you. He looks at me like that. He goes, hey, pretty good. And that's where I said, can I call you Frank? He went in front of like 2,000 people. No, like the biggest laugh of the night. He was the consummate performer. And I don't care what age you are, Ira, what age you are, man. When we go on the road, we just got off to Florida. I'm off to Long Island this weekend. I'll have 20-somethings in the audience. They know the music. They appreciate the music because you can't replace Cole Porter, man. And look, I don't know how I got here again, but Vinny and I are rediscovering all these vital recordings that Frank Sinatra did.
Ironically, my next guest on the show after you is Cole Porter. So you really can't get away from Cole Porter. They all come back, absolutely. So it's good. So when you look at the larger scope, because you do so many different things.
Yeah.
I'll put you on the spot. I didn't know I was going to ask you this until just now. So aside from yourself, who's your favorite comedian?
Great question. Jerry Lewis to me is the Chaplin of our time. I honestly believe that. So, but current who makes me laugh?
Sure.
I think Eddie Murphy, genius, is a comic genius. Eddie Murphy is a comic genius. So, I mean, you see what he did in Dreamgirls, but on stage, he's probably the greatest, to me, for my money, the greatest performer I've ever seen, and a privilege to work with this guy. I mean, there I was, a kid coming up, and with the kid 10 years younger than me, just nailing it. And when we would go on Saturday Night Live and before the cameras, we had no delay. And we had tens of millions of people watching.
Live feed to the West Coast.
And Eddie's attitude was contagious, I'm telling you.
And to the East Coast, actually.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? And we used to just, so I'd have to say, it's still Eddie, still makes me laugh. Always made me laugh. I mean, but of all, the daddy of them all has to be Mr. Lewis, I think.
Actually, now I think about it's live coast to the East Coast, and then a live feed to the East Coast, and then repeated on the
I
West
lost
Coast.
track.
I did too.
These
actually.
are tough questions.
I'm intimidated by 30 Rock, so I can never remember that stuff. So because you.